श्री श्री गुरु गौरांग गंधार गिरिधारी श्री श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जाय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जू की जाय। नित्याल विष्णु विष्णुपार शतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जाय। नित्याल विष्णु विष्णुपार शतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जाय। नित्याल विष्णु विष्णुपार शतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत साई महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्याल विष्णु विष्णुपार शतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्याल विष्णु विष्णुपार शतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्याल विष्णु महाभगवत श्री गौर किशोरदास बाबाजी महाराज की जय। नित्याल विष्णु श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्याल विष्णु वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपानु गौरिय गुरु वर्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शारद गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय। नाम जय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभीष्ट प्रदात गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। श्री चैतन्य शिक्षाष्टक की जय। जय श्री सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि की जय। जय श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन। जय श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर भजन रहस्य की जय। श्री कृष्ण नाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकायै तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। श्रीसिद्धान्तसरस्वतीति विदितो गौरीयगुर्वन्वये भातो भानुरिव प्रभात गगने यो गौरसङ्कीर्तनाय मायावारतिमिङ्गिलो दरगतान् उद्धृत्य जीवनिमान् कृष्णप्रेमसुधाब्धिकाहनसुखां प्रादात् प्रभुं तं भजे। वन्दे भक्तिविनोदं श्री गौरशक्तिस्वरूपकं भक्तिशास्त्रज्ञसम्राजं राधारससुधानिधिं। नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगवरायते। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। वृषभानुसुतान्वितवामतनुं यमुनातटनागरनन्दसुतं मुरलीकलगीतविनोरपरं Bhaj Godruma Kanana Kunjavidum Smara Gaura Gadadhara Kelikalam Bhava Gaura Gadadhara Pakshachara Shrinu Gaura Gadadhara Charukatang Bhaja Godruma Kanana Kunjavidum Tavai Vasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vinam Iti Vigyaya Devi Tvang Nayamang Charanantikam Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshai Kshiptashchakama Dittaranga Madhye Kripamai Tvam Sharanam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. All right. Shri Saruparaya Sangha Harsha Shesha Bhoshanam Shikshanashtakakya Krishna Kirtanaika Poshanam Prema Nama Matra Vishwa Jivanaika Sambarang Prema Dhama Devam Eva Nomi Gora Sundaram Premor Bhavita Harsheryo Dvega Dainyarti Mishritam Lapitam Gorachandrasya Bhagyavarbhir Nishevyate. Prabhur Shikshashtak Shloka Jay Pore Shune Krishne Prem Bhakti Tar Bare Dine Dine. Whoever reads or hears the Lord Shikshashtak verses will find their Prem Bhakti to Krishna growing more and more each day. Okay, so now we'll recite. I'm not going to explain it. I'm not going to read the translation this time, but Bhajana-rahasya 1:10. This is the verse that comes before Chaito Darpana Marjanam. This is the glories of even Namabhas. Okay. Tang nirvyajam bhajagunanidhim pavanam pavananam Shraddharajanmatiratittaram Uttama Shlokamaulim Prodyan Anta Karanakuhare Hantaya Nama Bhanor Abhasopi Kshapayati Mahapataka Dvantarashim. Okay, I'll read the translation just for this verse. Sincerely worship Him, the reservoir of divine qualities, the purifier of all purifiers, and the foremost of all who are glorified by the choicest verses. So sincerely worship Him with a mind exceedingly colored by faith, or enlivened with faith. Oh, even the faintest dawn of His sun-like name, as it rises in the core of the heart, eradicates the great mass of darkness of grievous sin. Mahapataka. Now, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's translation of this verse. Parama Pavana Krishna Tahar Charan Nishkapata Shraddha Saha Koroho Bhajan Jar Nama Surya Bhasa Antare Praveshi Dhangsha kore mahapap andhakar rashi. So Krishna is Parama Pavan. He is supremely purifying. Worship his feet with sincere, guileless faith. His name's sun-like effulgence, entering within the heart, destroys grievous sins, that massive darkness of grievous sins. A Shikshashtake, and I hope everybody's starting to become familiar with the meaning of these verses here. I wonder if I should just continue explaining it a few more times. I've already done it maybe 3 or 4 times. Um, Anyhow, this is the method of sadhan. Yeah, this is how we perform sadhan, but through Shikshashtak. And this is how we attain, this is the methodology, the methodology of attaining siddhi, perfection, siddhi pranali. This is through Shikshashtak. E Shikshashtake kohe Krishna lila kram, ihate bhajana krame lilar udgam. Prathame prathama shloka bhajo kichu din, dvitiya shlokete tabe hoto praveen. Chari shloke kramasha bhajana pakva koro, panchama shlokete nija siddha deha varo. Oy shloke siddha dehe radha padashray, aramba koriya krame unnati uday. ছয় শ্লোক ভজিতে অনর্থ দূরে গেল তবে জানো সিদ্ধ দেহে অধিকার হইল অধিকার না লভিয়া সিদ্ধ দেহ ভাবে বিপর্যয় বুদ্ধি জন্মে শক্তির অভাবে সাবধানে ক্রম ধরো যদি সিদ্ধি চাও সাধুর চরিত্র দেখি শুদ্ধ বুদ্ধি পাও সিদ্ধ দেহ পে ক্রমে ভজন করিলে অষ্টকাল সেবা সুখ অনায়াসে মিলে শিক্ষাষ্টক চিন্তা করো স্মরণ কীর্তন ক্রমে অষ্টকাল সেবা হবে উদ্দীপন সকল অনর্থ যাবে পাবে প্রেম ধন চতুর্বর্গ ফলগু প্রায় হবে অদর্শন. Okay, so that's the step-by-step process, how Shikshashtak can bring you from the very beginning stage of Shraddha all the way to serving Krishna blissfully throughout the 8 periods of the day. How you can attain that anayase, without any effort, easily. So this is the way this is the, what do you say, guidelines, this is the Shikshash. Yeah, in a nutshell, this is how you follow Shikshashtak. First, you engage with the first verse for some days, then you'll become proficient in the second verse. And then, by focusing on the first 4 verses, gradually you'll make your bhajan will become mature. And then, in the 5th verse, you'll embrace your Siddha Deha, and in that 5th verse of Shikshashtak, you'll start to take shelter of Sri Radha's lotus feet. And then from that point on, Unnati Uday, very quickly, you'll rise higher and higher. Your advancement like shoots off from that point. That's Ruchi. And then at the stage of Asakti, verse 6, all your anarthas, when you continue this practice of Shikshashtak and you get to verse 6, then all your anarthas will go away, and then your adhikar for your spiritual, you'll get adhikar, eligibility for your spiritual body, for your siddha deha. And then he warns you, if you start thinking about your siddha deha before you reach the stage of asakti, the 6th verse of Shikshashtak, then you'll get a backwards intelligence because you lack spiritual strength. You're jumping way above your qualification there. So you're just going to get total backwards understanding of everything. So therefore, savadane, very carefully, follow this kram. We looked at this before, we counted, he uses the word kram, which means the sequence, the proper step-by-step process. He uses that word kram 7 times in these 10 verses. So he's really emphasizing how we have to follow step by step this process of Shikshashtak. And so very carefully follow this kram if you desire to attain siddhi, and you'll attain, instead of this viparyaya buddhi, this backwards understanding, this backwards intelligence, if you just try to do things prematurely. But no, you should sadur charitadeki, you should observe the behavior, the character of saintly persons, and then you'll attain shuddha buddhi, not viparyaya buddhi, but shuddha buddhi, pure understanding, pure intelligence. And then, having obtained your spiritual body and performing bhajan in sequence, then anayase, effortlessly, very easily, you will attain the happiness, the joy of serving Krishna and Radha and Krishna throughout the 8 periods, Ashtakala Sevasuk, 8 periods of the day. Therefore, Shikshashtak Chinta, contemplate the Shikshashtak and engage in Smaran and Kirtan. Then krame, then gradually, Ashtakal Seva Habib, then the service throughout the 8 periods of day will gradually arise for you, will be awakened. And all anarthas will go, and Prem Dhan will fill up. Right now our heart is filled with anarthas, but all those anarthas will go at that stage, and then what will come into our heart is Prem Dhan, the treasure of Prem. And at that point, all the different attainments that anybody aims for in this world, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, all seem completely insignificant, useless, falgu, and habe adarshan, and they all completely disappear from sight. You don't know anything else but the ashtakal, what is it? Ashtakal sevasuk. Ashtakal sevasuk, the bliss of serving Krishna throughout the 8 periods of the day. So if we follow these guidelines, this methodology that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur set through us, this is like the manual here for following Shikshashtak. If we follow this, that will be the result. And it's very practical. It starts from where we're at and goes step by step. All right. So now let's recite that Shikshashtak. Cheto darpana marjanam bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavado Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Parang Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrarpita niyamita smaranena kala etadrishi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi durdaiva medrishamiha janina nuraga trinarapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sada hari na dhanam na janam na sundarim Kavitam va jagadish kamaye mama janmani janmanishvare bhavatar bhaktir ahaituki tvai. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, at first we should really focus on these first 4 verses here. And by that, really focusing on these verses, then our bhajan will become mature. Bhajan pakva koro. Mature your bhajan through these first 4 verses. And now here's Ruchi. Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitang mam vishame bhavam buddho kripaya tava para pankaja stita dhuli sadrisham vichintaya. So in this verse, he's saying, mercifully place me as a particle of dust at your lotus feet. Kripaya tava pada pankaja stita dhuli sadrisham vichintaya. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that this stage, this is a stage of ruchi, and we will take shelter of Radha's lotus feet at this time. Radha Padashray. And we will, at this stage, we will embrace our Siddha Deha. Yeah. And I think this is, we're not engaging with our Siddha Deha yet. And we're not, but we're now understanding a little bit, what are my feelings towards Krishna? You're just getting like, now you're starting to see what your real nature is. Then Nayanam Galadashudharaya Padanam Gad Kadarudaya Gira Pulakar Nichitang Vapu Kada Tavanama Grahane Bhavishyati. Now this is the stage of Asakti. And this is where you now gain eligibility for your Siddha Deha. And then Yugayitam Nimeshena Chakshusha Pravrishayitam Shunyayitam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Virahena Me. And now at this point, this is bhav. And now you've attained perfection. Now you'll be just absorbed, immersed in remembering the Ashtakalya Lila of Radha and Krishna, the pastimes throughout the 8 periods of the day. Then finally, Ashlishava pararatang pinashtumam adarshanan marma hatam korotuva yatha tatha va vidadhatulam pato mat prananatastu sa eva na para. I just want to look at this chart again. Where is it? Bhajana-rahasya chart. I want to try out something. Let's go through these 8 verses of Shikshashtaka, seeing how it relates to the sadhak who has not attained rati yet. Before reaching the stage of bhav, who's still at the stage following sadhan bhakti. This is how each of the verses of Shikshashtaka, how it helps them, how they realize it, what it means for them. So the first verse, Cheto Darpana Marjanam. First, we'll just go through all 8 related to the Ajata Rati Sadak, and then we'll go through all 8 referring to the Jata Rati Sadak, the Sadak who's attained the stage of Bhav. So, for the Sadak who's engaged in Sadhan, Bhakti Sadhan, by performing Nam Sankirtan with faith, ignorance is nullified, and his mirror-like heart is cleansed. So that's Cheto Darpana Marjanam. Then, Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis, by continuously chanting, his anarthas are gradually removed, and he develops nishta. His intelligence becomes fixed, and he begins to develop firm faith in Krishna Nam. He cultivates as his ideal the character, service, and goal of Srila Rupa Goswami and other pure devotees. Then, at the 3rd verse, Turnada Pisunichena, he follows the ideal and character of pure devotees and their way of chanting a fixed number of rounds, offering a fixed number of obeisances, renouncing material enjoyment, and offering prayers and glorifications. With firm faith, he chants the holy name day and night. So this is the stage of Nishta. Then, at the stage of Ruchi, Na Dhanam Na Janam, the 4th verse of Shikshashtaka, the stage of Ruchi, unalloyed bhakti is stimulated in his heart. Unalloyed bhakti is stimulated in his heart when he performs Nam Sankirtan with ruchi, with taste. He becomes free from all desires other than the desire to serve Krishna, right? And that's what that verse is. Nadhanam, najanam. I don't want wealth. I don't want followers. I don't want beautiful women or poetry or I don't want any of this. all I want is service to you, right? Ahoituki bhakti, birth after birth. That's all I want. So that's the stage of ruchi. Now he's starting to understand who he really is, his swarup. And now we come to the fifth verse of Shikshashtaka, Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram. So now the sadhak, he prays to attain his own swarup as an eternal servant of Krishna. Then attachment for both bhajan and bhajaniya is awakened. So the stage of ruchi, he's just attached to the practice of performing bhajan. He's attached to, shravan, kirtan, smaran, vandana, all these activities of bhakti. He's deeply getting, he has taste for all the different, for all these different things, for bhajan. But now at the stage of asakti, it's not just that he has attachment for bhajan, but he's focused on the object of bhajan. It's not just the performance of Shravan Kirtan, but actually who is this Kirtan to? He's attached directly to Radha and Krishna themselves. And continuously chanting, he attains the inherent mercy of Nam Prabhu, and his heart begins to soften and melt. Shuddha Sattva arises, his taste for Nam thickens, and the 9 symptoms of bhav begin to manifest. Okay, so then from asakti, it seems like from asakti is very quickly you get to bhav. Everything's like, it seems like the whole process is really slow from shraddha and then sadhusanga bhajana kriya nartanivritti and tanishta. That whole process takes a long time and is really difficult. But then once you get to ruchi, it's all like boom, it all shoots up from there. So, yeah, very gets attachment for both bhajan and bhajaniya. And then his heart begins to soften and melt. And then all the 9 symptoms of bhav begin to manifest. And then finally, he who is formally now in the stage of bhav, which is the 6th verse, Nayanam Galadashudharaya, when he starts to, well, this is when you get eligibility for your spiritual, or no, actually no, you get eligibility at this previous stage, but now in this stage, now you're like, let's see what it says. He who is formally the ajata rati sadak, and remember, rati means the same thing as bhav. It's just they're synonymous. Rati, bhav. So he who is formerly a sadhak in whom rati or bhav had not taken birth, has not arisen, now he manifests a natural aversion to that which is unrelated to Krishna. By chanting the holy name with complete dedication to Krishna, his heart melts and becomes extremely soft. And ashru, pulak, ashru is crying, pulak, the hair is standing on end, and all the other ashta sattvic bhavs manifest to the degree of dhumaita, the smoldering condition. Yeah, so the ashta sattvic bhavs, there are different stages. There's, God, I forgot what it first was like this smoldering or smoking, and then Jwalita, Prajwalita, there's like different stages of fire, like the intensity of fire. So I guess at the stage of prem, it's just like blazing. So now we come to the 6th verse. Oh, okay, Bhav comes twice. Interesting. Okay, interesting. So here it says, this Nayanam Galadashudharaya, right now the external symptoms of bhav appear. So there's, all these ashta sattvic bhavs. But then at the and the 7th verse of Shikshashtakam, Yugayitam Nimeshena, now the internal symptoms of bhav, of perfection, vipralamba prem, love and separation, now that appears. Now the Nam Sadak, who has taken shelter of Madhuras with an exclusive mood to Shri Radha Krishna Yugal, attains the exclusive shelter of Shri Radha's lotus feet. In other words, he attains the mood of an intimate associate of Srimati Radhika. Actually, okay, sorry, let me go back. Now let's read these 8 verses of Shikshashtaka in relation to that sadhak in whom bhav has arisen, a jata rati sadhak. So, Chetodharvanamarjanam. He remembers the pastimes in which Radha and Krishna meet each other. Under the guidance of Sri Rupa Manjari and other Vrajadevis, he performs Manasi Seva to Radha Govinda in his internally conceived gopi form. Then the second verse, Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis. When he remembers Radha and Krishna's eternal form, pastimes, qualities, and so forth, their Leela Vilas manifests, as well as service to them in these pastimes. He constantly remembers Lalita, the other Sakis, and under their guidance, performs service in his perfected spiritual body. Then the third verse, Trinada Pisunichena, he remembers the pastimes of Sri Radha and the other gopis when Krishna leaves for cowherding, and the moods of separation they experience at that time. And then Nadhanam Najanam, the fourth verse of Śikṣāṣṭaka. Now he chants with great affection, and Shishi Radhakrishna's pastime of meeting awakens within his heart. And that's right, yeah, the Madhyan Lila. Isn't Madhyan Lila also said to be like one of the highest Leelas? Because this is at Radhakund midday, and this is when they meet together, and so this is like one of the most joyful times times of the day. Then um at the state sorry, then the fourth verse, sorry, the fifth verse of Shikshashtak, Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram. Then he remembers the pastime of Radha and Krishna's meeting after Krishna returns from cowherding. And then the sixth verse of Shikshashtakam, Nayanam Galara Shudharaya. Then he remembers Shri Radha Krishna's meeting. Shri Radha becomes completely delighted upon obtaining Krishna's remnants through Dhanishta. Shri Krishna Prasada Radha Punje Hoye Preta. Okay, then, okay, now we come here. So the Nam Sadak, who has taken shelter of Madhuras with an exclusive service mood to Shri Shri Radha Krishna Yugal, attains the exclusive shelter of Shri Radha's lotus feet. In other words, he attains the mood of an intimate associate, a Palya Dasi of Srimati Radhika. He also attains the Ekadash Bhavs and the 5 Dashas. However, the Sadak, overwhelmed by Vipralambha Ras, performs Nam Sankirtan, considering himself devoid of bhakti. At this time, a vision manifests in his heart. Shri Radha is intensely eager to meet Krishna, and following the instruction of Vrindadevi, goes to meet him in a bower on the Yamuna's shore. Fully absorbed in thinking of each other, they search for one another. So that's Yugaitam Nimeshena. Before was the external symptoms of bhav, that's Nayanam Galara Shudharaya. And that verse, right, we see all these symptoms. My, torrents of tears are coming from my eyes, and vadana, my voice is becoming choked, and like all that, So these are all the external symptoms of bhav in that verse. It's sixth verse of Shikshashtak. And now the seventh verse of Shikshashtak is the internal symptoms. Vipralamba prem, yugaitam nimeshena. This is all full of vipralamba. And then we come to the eighth verse. Ashlishava pararatang pinashtumam. The sadhak engages in the sweet prem seva of Radha Krishna in the manifest of Rajdam throughout the 8 periods of the day. In his internal form, he attains service in the mood of a gopi. As he performs bhajan of this pair of names, he remembers Radha and Krishna's meeting, in which Radhika's manjaris serve Sri Yugal by offering tambul and so on. So that is the sequence of Shikshashtak. How it relates, there's 2 tiers. There's how the sadhak in whom bhav has not appeared, how they follow this Shikshashtak and the progression that they make. And then for someone in whom rati or bhav has appeared, it's the 2-tier system. All right. or two different levels, I mean. That's the thing. The process is the same. Um, like externally, the process is the same for everybody, for the very beginner and also for somebody who's reached Bhav. Like externally, the process is pretty much the same, but what's going on internally is totally different. That's why it's very difficult to recognize who Vaishnava is because we don't know what's going on in somebody's heart, what they're experiencing. Okay, so now Srila Bhakti, now text 11 of Bhajana-rahasya, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur finally gives the first verse of Shikshashtak, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, and now he's showing different verses from different places to illuminate all the seven results of Nam Sankirtan, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. So yesterday we went for actually a couple days now. We've been going over Cheto Darpana Marjanam. Now we're going to go over Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. Just a little recap of Chaitodarpana Marjanam. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives this beautiful verse from Srila Rupa Goswami's Krishna Namashtak, verse 7, how for cleansing the heart, what do we have for cleansing our heart? What does this Nam Sankirtan do? It destroys all the numerous sufferings of those who have taken shelter of you, O Harinam. And oh, you, Harinam, you are the embodiment of the delightful, transcendental, condensed happiness. And so, O Nam, you are the festival. I offer pranam to you, O Nam, who are a festival for the residents of Gokul. You're the festival of Gokul. And you are you are the full embodiment. Your form is fully complete with all these qualities. You're the very complete form, right, of your Swayam Bhagavan, and you have all these Rup Madhuri, Venu Madhuri, Lila Madhuri, Prem Madhuri that doesn't exist in any other form. So you're Purna, you're fully complete with the 64 qualities. Um, okay, so that's the powerful, delightful thing that we have to cleanse our heart with. That's the but now what about the other methods for cleansing the heart? That's what's you know, all these processes are about cleansing the heart. Ashtanga yoga, gyan, the whole purpose of it is to cleanse the heart. But they're not very effective. So the mind that is disturbed by the enemies of lust, anger, greed, and so forth does not become as subdued or peaceful by practicing yam and niyam on the path of Ashtanga yoga, as it does by performing service to Sri Mukunda, which brings it completely under control. And then this goes through Naishkarmyam. So I'm not so sure about this translation actually. Well, anyways, whatever. So even pure knowledge, which is the direct sadhan to attain liberation, has no beauty if it is devoid of devotion to Sri Bhagavan. How then can selfless action, which is not offered to the Supreme Lord, and fruit of action, which is always inauspicious in both its practice and perfection, be beautiful? There's no beauty in it. And then we memorized this verse yesterday. Um, So we've heard how wonderful, juicy, and effective this nam is. And now the last verse, I think it's really cool. How, it's nice how this last verse, he ends it with saying, all these other ways to purify the heart, purify the mind, is all the last words here. It's like stula tushava ghatinam. It's like trying to get rice by beating empty rice husks. But what do you get? What's the result of beating these empty rice husks? Only hard effort. There's no fruit. You don't get any rice from it. You're just wasting your energy and time completely uselessly. So, Shreya Sating Bhakti Mudasyate Vibho Klishanti Ye Kevala Bodhalabdaye Tesham Asau Kleshala Eva Shishyate Nanyad Yata Stula Tushava Ghatinam. Okay, now we move to the blazing fire of material existence is extinguished by Nam Sankirtan. So now, Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, chapter 246. I think, is this, what's in the 6th canto? Is this Ajamil? Kind of want to see the context. Do you mind if I look really quickly? Let's just see. One second. I need to open up another window. Sometimes it's nice to see what the context is with this, what pastime's happening. One second. Oops. Okay. So let's see what's going on here. Okay. Yeah, this is Ajamil delivered by the Vishnu Dutas. Okay. So, okay. So let's recite this verse. Nata param karma nibandha krintanam mamokshatam tirtha padanukirtanat nayat puna karmasu sajjate mano rajastamobhyam kalilam tatonyata. For those who desire liberation from the bondage of this material existence, there is no means, there is no other means than chanting the name of Sri Bhagavan, who sanctifies even the holy places by the touch of his lotus feet. This Nam Sankirtan is able to destroy the root cause of all sinful activities. Because when the mind has taken shelter of the Supreme Lord, it will never again be caught by fruitive activities. By taking shelter of any atonement other than the name of Sri Bhagavan, the heart will remain affected by the modes of passion and ignorance, and sins will not be destroyed at the root. They'll stay, kalilam means contaminated. Yeah. It'll be contaminated by rajas and tamas. Okay. And then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives this verse. Karma bandha sukhandana moksha prapti sanghatana Krishna nama kirtane sadhay karma chakra rajastama purna rupe vinirgama nama vina nahi anyopay. Okay, so what's the meaning of this? Let's see. Karma bandha sukhandan moksha prapti sanghatan Krishna nam kirtane sadhai. So the very sukhandan, khandan means cutting, and sukhandan is like very effective cutting of the bandha, the bondage of karma, and moksha prapti sanghatan. And the attainment of moksha. Krishna nam kirtane sadhai. This is sadhai. This is accomplished through kirtan of Krishna nam. Krishna nami kirtane sadhai. Karma chakra rajastama purna rupe vinirgama nam vina nahi anyupai. So then the cycle of karma, of fruit of action and reaction, which is all pervaded by rajas and tamas, passion and ignorance. Purna rupe vinirgama. Vinirgama means destroyed or like eradicated or something like that, right? Let me just look up this word. Vinirgama. Vinirgama. Vinirgama means going out. Just going out. Drive away. Come out. Okay. Is this word used in the Sanskrit? Let's see. No, it's not. Okay. Anyways. So So it's not fully removed. It doesn't fully go out. Um, without nam bina, without nam nahi anyopaya. There's no other means. There's no other means to fully uh, drive out. Purna rupe means fully. Vinirgama, drive out um, this rajas and tamas, this ignorance and passion, and this cycle of action and reaction. There's no other means. Nahi anyopay. Nahi, no anya other upay means other than Nam, the name of Krishna. Okay, so actually, do you want to try to remember after the session today, after I finish the Jaidwani, maybe we can memorize this verse here. Nata param param. Yeah, I want to try to do that. I'm going to try to do this every day, actually, memorize a new verse. Okay, so now, oh, and this one thing. This is going through this is going through the process um of right extinguishing the blazing fire of material existence. And so what is that? What is that really is moksha, pretty much, right? That's the whole goal of moksha is to put out the fire of samsara, the blazing fire of samsara. And there's nothing positive in it really. It's just like getting relief from all suffering and putting all your samsara, all this material, your um your situation in material existence, putting it to an end, all the suffering that you undergo in it. So that's really moksha. And so that's why this is kind of saying um that Nam Sankirtan is the most effective way to attain that. Oh, actually, that's something I wanted to look up. I can't remember, but wasn't it Mahaprabhu asked Gadadhar Pandit when they were in school? Um, Mahaprabhu asked Gadadhar Pandit to define moksha, and Mahaprabhu just wanted to like get in a debate with him. And so everybody tried to avoid Nimai Pandit. And then what did Gadadhar Pandit say? Um, I think he said "At- atyanta atyanta dukkha nivritti or something like that. That moksha means the complete cessation of of distress. I don't know. I was just now trying to look for it and I couldn't find it in Chaitanya Bhagavat, but I remember reading it. And then Mahaprabhu gave a different. Uh, then Mahaprabhu got in a debate with him, and then he established the real. That's like a better definition of moksha. I think what was Mahaprabhu? Anyways, I need to find that in. But so this whole all these verses now is explaining that moksha. Um, so now at least that's my understanding because I keep on seeing this word. Here it says moksha mumukshatam. For those who desire liberation, there's no better means to cut the bondage of karma than through nam kirtan by performing kirtan of Tirthapad Krishna, who sanctifies even the holy places by his feet. And now this next verse is also about moksha. Further, the Skanda, text 17. Further, the Skanda Puran states, Sakrid ucharitam yena harir ityakshara dvayam baddha parikarastena mokshaya gamanam prati. A person who even once chants the two syllables ha and ri easily obtains liberation. It's a simple verse. Okay, so a person who even once chants Hari easily attains liberation. Mokshaya gamanam prati. So the Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam happens very easily for somebody who does Nam Sankirtan. And then what's the Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes this Bengali? Jar mukhe ek bar nam nritya kore. So in whose mouth, ek bar, just once even, the name nritya kore, the name dances, So for that person in whose mouth the name even once dances, moksha sukh anayasi pai she nare. Then the happiness of moksha, of liberation, anayase pai, is easily attained, effortlessly attained. She nare for that person. All right, and now we come to, so this is all just the level of moksha. Um, Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. But then I remember we read, but then does it stop there? No, that's just the negative stuff going out. Now, finally, at this stage um, of what is it? Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam, Shreya Kairava Chandrika. Now the positive things happening. Um, Now the holy name is like the moonlight that causes the white lotus of all auspiciousness to blossom. The Skanda Puran, Prabhas Skanda, quoted in Hari Bhakti Vilas, says, Madhura Madhuram etan mangalang mangalanam sakala nigamavalli satpalam chit swarupam sakridapi parigitam shraddaya helayava Bhriguvaranara matram tarayet Krishna nama. This is a very famous verse glorifying the holy name. This is quoted all over the place. It's in the Gaudiya Giti Gucha even. Um, so it means the holy name is the most auspicious of all that is auspicious and the sweetest of all that is sweet. It is the fully ripened transcendental fruit of all the creepers of the Shrutis. O best of the Bhrigu dynasty, if a person even once chants the name of Sri Krishna without offense, be it with faith or even indifferently, that chanting will deliver him from the bondage of material existence. Let's look at the Sanskrit of this. So, Madhura Madhuram. It is. It is the sweetest of the sweet. It's the sweetness of sweet. It's the sweetest of sweet. Etan, and these names, Etan means these. Mangala Mangalanam is the most auspicious of all that is auspicious. Mangalanam means of auspiciousness, it is Mangalam. It is that most auspicious. Sakala Nigama, like we see this kind of form, we saw this kind of form, right? Pavanam Pavananam, Mangala Mangalanam. So it's the best of that thing. Then Sakala Nigama Valli. So the Nigama says all the scriptures. Sakala means all the scriptures. Valli means a vine or a creeper. I like the word vine better. So Sakala Nigama Valli Satphalam Chit Swarupam. It is the Satpal. It is the real fruit. Satpal. It is the true fruit, the ripened fruit. Chit Swarupam. It is the very form of chit. Here, interesting. I just noticed this. It says sat and chit. It's the true fruit. Like I'm just thinking of Sat Chit Ananda. I wonder if there's any connection. It is real Sat. It is the fruit of that is true, and it is the very embodiment of Chit, of transcendental knowledge. That's just like a speculation that I thought just now. Um, so why does it say? And also this Valli and Phalam, these both go together, right? So this example of Valli or a Lata is used all the time, right? For um, like in Madhuri Kadambini, the whole book is based around that concept of a vine that's growing, right? Because it starts from below and then it keeps on rising higher and higher and higher, and it matures and grows more and more and more. Um, and then finally, what is the ultimate thing is that it will bear, um, first it will bear buds and then flowers, and then ultimately it will bear fruit. And so the Vedas are all the scriptures, the Shrutis, are so vast. And so it keeps on growing and growing and growing. All this the four Vedas and then the Upanishads and the Puranas, Itihasas, all these Vedas that keep on growing and growing and growing. And then finally, the main object that it bears fruit finally. And what is that fruit? It's this Nam. And so this Nam is the Satval of the Vali of the Nigamas. How would you translate Chit Swarupam? How do they translate it here? They just say transcendental, I think. Chit Swarupam. So it's a completely transcendental fruit. And then Sakrid. Sakrid, I think, means just once. Api Parigitam. If even, Api means Api Sakrid. If even just once, Parigitam, it is sung. What does Pari mean? Gita means sung, and then Pari, that prefix, I don't know what sense it is. Nicely sung or something like that. It says without offense. I wonder if without offense can be like it's kind of indicating something like that. Anyway, so Sakrid Api Parigitam, somebody even just once, if they sing this, Shraddhaya, that means with faith, or Va means or, Hilaya, with indifference, indifferently. Oh, Briguvara, oh, best of the Brigos. Um, just by that, Nara Matram Tarayat Krishna Nama. That person, that human, Tarayat, will gain deliverance through that Krishna Nama. That name delivers. Sorry, it's not, this is in the accusative. So the Krishna Nam, Tarayat, will deliver that person, that Nara. I think that's what it means. I don't fully get the sense of matram here though. Anyways, but yeah, it's a very beautiful verse. Madhuram Madhuram itam Mangala Mangalanam Sakala Nigama Valli Satvalam Chit Surupam Sakrirapi Parigitam Shraddaya Helayava Briguvaranara Matram Tarayat Krishna Nama. Even if you chant it with faith or even without faith, or sorry, even just indifferently, Helaya, Shraddaya or Helaya, with faith or Helaya, indifferently. What's the word Hela? I mean, I'm looking in the Bengali dictionary, not Sanskrit dictionary, but I think it's Hela means neglect, disregard, neglectfully, I think, yeah. Okay, so now Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives this Bengali verse explaining this. Sakala mangala hoite parama manga. So hoite means, in this context, it means from all that is auspicious, sakal mangal, from all that is auspicious, it is parama mangal. It is supremely auspicious. It is param mangal. Chit swarup sanatan veda valli pal. It is the embodiment of chit, of transcendence. And sanatan, it is eternal. Veda valli fal. It is the fruit of the vine of the Vedas. Okay, so Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is translating sat here as, in this verse, it says sat. He's translating that as eternal, right? Like we hear sat chit ananda means eternality, cognizance, and bliss, right? So sat means eternal, sanatan. So it's chit swarup sanatan veda fali fal. Krishna naam ek bar shraddhaya helai. So that Krishna name, the Krishna's name, ek bar, just once, with shraddha or with indifference, neglectfully, jahar vadani, in whose mouth the Krishna's name comes just once, either with faith or neglectfully, she She mukta shunishtoy. That person, she means that person, mukta, becomes liberated. Shunishtoy. Certainly. Very, without any doubt. That person certainly becomes liberated. Okay, and the key word in this verse, how it relates to Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam, is Mangal, right? Shreya and Mangal mean the same thing pretty much, right? Means auspiciousness, our ultimate welfare. So this is showing from the Skanda Puran how it's Krishna Nam, which gives us the topmost, it's the most sweet of the sweet, and it's the most auspicious of the auspicious. It brings about the highest welfare. Why? So before it was the first two was okay, cleaning off all these anarthas. That's Cheto Darpana Marjanam, and then putting out the forest fire, the blazing forest fire of material existence of samsara, of the suffering in this world. So those are all just negative. That's all just coming up to the point of moksha. And now we get the positive thing. We get the moonlight of Shreya, of auspiciousness. Or no, the moonlight brings about the auspiciousness, the white lotus of auspiciousness within the heart. You know, now the positive thing is coming out. And in this verse, what is that? It's saying the fruit of all the Vedas, of all the scriptures. And it's eternal. It's the fruit of all the scriptures, and it is the very form of knowledge, transcendence, chit. So that's now the next one will be, we'll go through this tomorrow. Now he's going to explain Vidyavadu Jivanam. But it is 8 o'clock, and so we will end here. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Oh, and I forgot to see everybody who joined in the beginning. Sorry, I just spaced out today. Anyways, I'll just press to quick Jaidvani. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai, Jai Shri Guru Dev Ki Jai, Jai Shri Param Guru Dev Ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai, Swaparshad Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopikan Ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vranda Devi Ki Jai, श्री भक्ति देवी की जय, श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाया की जय, श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय, श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद जय, श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय, श्री भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर भजन रहस्य की जय, जय श्री चैतन्य शिक्षाष्टक की जय, श्री सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि की जय, श्री कृष्ण नाम संकीर्तन की जय, जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, श्रीनिताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। वृंदाय तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशवाश कृष्ण भक्ति प्रद देवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः। वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्य एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। Dandavat pranams, dear devotees, Nri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Anadi Krishna Prabhu, Devendra Agarwal, Chatamai Mataji, and I thought there were some more people on. Anyways, then I see on YouTube and Facebook, Vidyalala Sadidi, Zulma. Oh God, sorry, you mentioned your name once before and I forgot it. Anyways, Hare Krishna Zulma. Shripad Bhaktivedanta Sajan Maharaj, Dandavat Pranams Maharaj, and Rohini Nandan Prabhu, Ganga Mataji, and a lot of other devotees today. I only see the names of those people who write comments though. I'm guessing Indira Mataji is there. And but yeah, Dandavat Pranams. Thank you so much for joining. Also, pranams to all devotees watching in the future, like Shachi Devi and Revati Didi and Jayadev Prabhu and everybody else. Dandavat pranams. Um, so, yeah, I want to try to memorize this verse. If anybody needs to go, Dandavat pranams. See you tomorrow. Oh, wait, what's happening tomorrow? Let me just look really quick. Tomorrow is Baladev Vijabhushan's, is it appearance day or disappearance day? Anyways, it's Baladev Vijabhushan's day. It is his disappearance day. So we'll have a special program in honor of Baladev Vijabhushan Prabhu tomorrow. Um, oh, Haribol Champak Mataji. Haribol. Yeah. Um, yeah, so we're not going to have a reading tomorrow. We're not going to do Shikshashtaka tomorrow. We'll just read about Baladev Vijabhushan and then we'll continue our program the day after tomorrow. Okay, so if anybody wants to stay longer and wants to try to memorize this verse with me, this is my new system of memorizing verses rather than trying to do it on my own. I try to figure out what everything means and explain it and memorize it live. This is the best way. And I'm telling you, this is really the most effective way to memorize anything. So try to explain it to somebody. What verse is it? I wanted to do this verse. We'll do this verse, Maduram Maduram Etam Mangala Mangalam and Mangalanam in the next program, but let's do this one now. Nata Param Karma Nibbana Krintanam. So this is Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. Actually, I'll get the translation as well. Okay, I'm just putting this in a new Word doc. Something I did just now, I put this in Gemini. Let me just show you. Here, I'm pasting it here. I put this in Gemini. I asked it to help me memorize this verse and help me understand it. And this is what it gave me. And it's actually really good. um, and then I didn't spend so much time with this actually. I did read through it once, but I didn't go through it very carefully yet. Yeah. Is this too dark? Let me maybe I'll make it white. Display. There isn't enough contrast. Anyways. Maybe we could just look at it here. This will be better. Okay. Okay, so what I did is I put this in Gemini and then I explained in great depth the Sanskrit, even like all the Sanskrit grammar rules. But then afterwards I checked it all in the Bengali version, and I looked at our English version and I compared them all together because all these different AI things, it will never say it doesn't know something. It's way overconfident, and so it could tell you something that's totally off, and you'd never know. So that's why you always have to. You can never fully rely on it, but it can still be super helpful. Um, it was really helpful for this. So let's look at this. Well, let me just try to explain it in my own understanding right now. Um, so nata param karma nibandha krintanam mumukshatam tirtha padanu kirtanat. Okay, so um actually no, wait. first. Let's do this. There's no the meaning of the first line is there's no more excellent means of cutting the bonds of karma than this, which will be specified in the next line. Okay, so there's um, nata param means no better than this, no greater. Param means great, no greater than this. Ata. For krintana means cutting, nibandha means the bondage to karma. So there's nothing greater than this for cutting the bondage to karma. Mumukshatam means for those who are desirous of liberation, the mumukshus. And this is all, then what? Nothing better for cutting the bondage to karma for those who desire liberation than what? Than tirtha padanu kirtanat. The at the end of this word means, it makes it like a comparative thing. Then, tirtha pada anukirtan. So that means anukirtan of tirthapad. Tirthapada is name of Krishna, whose feet purifies everything, even purifies tirthas. Tirthapad. His feet are our holy tirtha, and his feet are the ultimate tirtha, purifying thing. And then it says anukirtanat. So there's kirtan and then there's anukirtan. And there are explanations about this word anu. It means many different things. Param Gurudev gives a very in-depth explanation of the word anu in an article that he writes on the Anyavilashita Shunyam. But I can't remember all the meanings, but the most common way I see anu translated mostly is continuous. So continuous kirtan. But then anu can also refer to being under guidance, anugatya. So, and let's look in the BBT translation. I think, one second, I'm just opening up the BBT translation here. It says, constantly chanting, and it says under the direction of the bona fide spiritual master. Okay, so both those meanings of constant anu and also under guidance of the spiritual master, anu kirtana. So that type of kirtan of tirthapad, the supreme personality of Godhead, at whose feet all the holy places stand. That's what it says in the word for word here. Okay. Oops, where are we? Oh, wait, we're using this. Okay. Now, nayat puna karmasu sajjate mano. Let's see what this third line means. Wait, so the first line together. For those who desire liberation, there is no means more excellent, param, for cutting the bonds of karma. So krintana means cutting, nibandha means bonds of karma. No better means of cutting the bonds of karma than the repeated faithful chanting. So it's using the word faithful for anu. Interesting. Anyways, but anu kirtana, the repeated chanting of tirthapad, he whose lotus feet are the source of all sanctity. That's what. Okay. Now the third line. Nayat puna karmasu sajjate mano. I'm just trying to get the basic understanding of the words now, and then we'll go through and like really get clear. But this is just like the overview. So nayat puna karmasu sajjate mano. So yat here's a conjunction. Because by this anukirtan. So why? Because yat na not puna again. Not again. Karmasu means in karma, in fruitive activities. Sajjate. Sajjate means clings to, becomes attached. So why yat? Because by this anukirtan of tirthapad, the mind does not again become attached to fruitive activities. Sajate means attached. It doesn't become attached. Puna means again in karma, to karma, in the engagement of karma, fruit of activities. Doesn't become entangled in karma. So karmasu in Sanskrit, this means this is plural. It's locative plural. Locative means it's located within something. It's locative and then plural. So it's karmasu. That's the so in karmas, in activities. Okay. So does that make sense? Nayat puna karmasu sajjate mano. Yat because by this kirtan, anukirtan of Tirthapad, by this nayat puna karmasu sajjate mano. The mind does not again, na puna, does not again sajjate, become attached or entangled in karma and fruit of activities. Karmasu. Nayat puna karmasu sajjate mano. Okay, now let's look at the fourth line. Um, Rajastamobhyam kalilam tatonyata. So Rajastamobhyam means by Raja and Tama, by passion and ignorance. Kalilam. Kalilam means contaminated, right? Means impure, contaminated, or mixed with, pervaded by. What's turbid mean? I don't know what turbid means. And then tatanyata. Tata anyata. Tatonyata. Than that. So the meaning of the fourth line is otherwise, or like otherwise, that is by any means other than Tirthaparanu Kirtan, then the mind remains contaminated by passion and ignorance. The mind remains contaminated by passion and ignorance by any other means. It's only Tirthapadanu Kirtan that will fully remove all other means. Will there still be some what's the word, kalilam, some contamination remaining? Okay, so now kind of have more of an idea of this. Now, nata param karma nibandha krintanam. So, sorry guys. uh, there's no means, there's nothing better, nothing greater for krintanam, for cutting the nibandha, the bondage of karma, for those who are desirous of liberation, mumukshatam, than continuous continuous kirtan, anukirtan of Tirthapad, of Krishna, whose feet are supremely purifying. What was the BBT translation again? It said Tirthapada, the supreme Godhead at whose feet all holy places stand. So it's also the embodiment of all tirthas. Why? Yet, because through this continuous kirtan of Tirthapad, na puna, never again, na, not, puna, again, the mind, mano, will become sajjate, will become entangled in or attached to the fruit of activities, karmasu. Whereas, um, whereas other means, anyata, other ways of trying to purify yourself, there will always be the kalilam, the contamination of rajas and tama, of passion and ignorance. And let's see how Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur translated this. He says, Karma bandha sukhandan moksha prapti sangatan Krishna nam kirtane sadhai. So the bondage of karma, sukhandan. Okay, so there'll be uh, very effective cutting of the bondage of karma. So that's how Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur translates this. Wait, let me make this. Nata param. Here, just changing the color of this. Let's make it green. So that's how Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur translates karma nibandha krintanam. Krintana means cutting, karma nibandha, the bonds of karma. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, karma bandha sukhandan, moksha prapti sanghatan, and the attainment of moksha is accomplished. This is all sadhai. Sadhai means accomplished through Krishna Nam Kirtan, or Anukirtan of Tirthapad. Okay, now karma chakra rajastama purna rupe vinirgama. Nam bina nahi anyopay. So there's no more sajjate, no more attachment. The mind, through this Nam Kirtan, because, yat means because, through this Nam Kirtan, mano, the mind, sajjate, will not, na puna, will no, never again, na puna, never again become attached or entangled in fruitive activities, karmasu. Whereas anyopai, other means, that's here, tatonyata, other means. By other means, kalilam, there'll be contamination of raja and tama. Okay. Anyhow, that's how I understand it. I'm just 1 second. Let me look. Oh, am I not sharing my screen this whole time? Holy crap! I'm so sorry. Sorry, guys. Um, am I not sharing my screen? You've just been looking at my face this whole time. Oh my God, I'm so sorry about that. I thought you were looking at what I was looking at. Oh, that must have been so boring. Can't believe people are still here. Anyhow, really sorry about that. That like the whole point was I was trying to show you what was on the screen here. Um, oh my God. Okay, so Nata param karma nibandha krintanam. Nata param brahman karma nibandha krintanam. This verse is a little bit more difficult, so that's why I'm having a little bit more difficult time figuring it out. Also, the BBT translation is a lot different. This is the BBT translation. It says, therefore, if I ever do that though, if I ever forget to share my screen, then please just you can turn on your mic and just let me know because I don't always see the comments. Um, so the BBT translation, how come it's not there? So therefore, one who desires freedom from material bondage should adopt the process of chanting and glorifying the name, fame, form, and pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, at whose feet all the holy places stand. So this is how the BBT translation translates. Ata, therefore, mumukshutam, for one who desires liberation, um, liberation from material bondage. Huh, interesting. They don't use the word krintana means that which is completely cut off. Huh. There's no better means than tirtha paranu kirtanat. Then they should adopt the process of chanting and glorifying the name, fame, form, and pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, at whose feet all the holy places stand. One cannot derive the proper benefit from other methods, such as pious atonement, speculative knowledge, and meditation in mystic yoga. Because even after following such methods, one takes to fruitive activities again, unable to control his mind, which is contaminated by the base qualities of nature namely passion and ignorance. So it's a very different translation in the BBT version than what the Bengali says. Um, let me just, I'm just going to read out the Bengali one second. So where is it? Okay, so it says, অতএব মুমুক্ষুগণের পক্ষে তীর্থপাদ শ্রী ভগবানের নাম সংকীর্তন ব্যতীত পাপমূলক নাশক কোনো শিষ্ট বস্তু নাই। আর যে সমস্ত প্রায়শ্চিত্তের ব্যবস্থা আছে তাহাতে রাজা ও তামগুণের দ্বারা মন মলিনী হইয়া থাকে, কিন্তু হরি কীর্তনে মন নির্মল হয় ও পুনরায় কর্মে আসক্তি জন্মে না। Okay, okay, so now, sorry guys, this is a lot less of a smooth explanation than the other times because I haven't fully, I think I've got it now though. So, nata param karma nibandha krintanam. You know what? I'm taking too long with this, and it's already 8:30. So I need to just look at this a little bit more on my own, and then I'll be able to explain it smoothly. But I'm so grateful that you guys were so patient with me. You stuck around even while I was not sharing my screen. What I was trying to, um, but yeah, I'm a bit confused because it explained it in a different way in the BBT version, and it explained it differently in the Bengali. What we read on Gemini though is how it's explained in the Bengali pretty much. And then in my Gurudev's Bhajana-rahasya is kind of like this also, but a little bit more fluffed out. And so um, I understand it now, kind of the Sanskrit, but I just need to like let it sink in before I can explain it. All right, so sorry about that. All right, Haribol, Dandavat Pranams. Thank you so much for joining. Hare Krishna, Rashab Sharma ji. Haribol. All right, Dandavat Pranams.